Coming up on Cronkite NewsWatch.
After months of waiting, the number of federal judges in Arizona could double this week.
Plus, snow has finally fallen again in Flagstaff. Even with the dry spell broken, residents are still hoping for much more.
And canals around the valley are common dumping grounds. We'll tell you what's being done to clean them out.
In-depth, insightful, innovative. Cronkite NewsWatch starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite NewsWatch. I'm Brittany Bade.
And I'm Crystal Story. Thanks for joining us.
Today at the Capitol, lawmakers and parents got a progress report on how students are performing in Arizona schools. Cronkite News reporter Ryan Foote is just back from the legislature and has more on the education talks.
Superintendent John Huppenthal was at the state capitol to deliver his annual State of Education in Arizona address. Last year, the speech focused on a need to update technology both within the classrooms and in the state education department. This year, it was all about transforming education itself. He made his statements this afternoon before the Education Committee at the House of Representatives. The focus, a 6-step transformation plan. Key elements of this plan include accountability, a new assessment standards test that will replace Ames, and lastly, just like last year, an increase in technology. He says this plan is essential because it blends together the best of past and the future.
It begins to establish a new definition for a world-class education, one that combines the timeless value of a classical education with the action learning of career and technical education.
After his speech, he did receive some pushback from the committee, mainly questioning the new testing standard and if the goals he laid out today are actually achievable. Live in the broadcast center, Ryan Foote, Cronkite News.
Thanks, Ryan. Someone not at the Capitol today was Governor Jan Brewer. Due to more winter weather slamming the Northeast, she's stuck in New Jersey waiting to fly home, and she's not alone. About 3,500 flights are either delayed or canceled in the area. Brewer headed out for the ceremonial handoff of Super Bowl host states. Next year's big game will be held here in Glendale. We'll have more on your forecast and a recap of the Super Bowl coming up.
It's been a long time coming, but a U.S. Senate committee could take action soon to nearly double the number of federal judges in Arizona. Cronkite News reporter Jillian Idle joins us live from the Washington, D.C. Bureau with more on the nominees.
The 4 men and 2 women who were nominated to fill vacant judgeships on the U.S. District Court of Arizona have waited months for this day.
I do.
Thank you. Please be seated.
The hearing before a Senate Judiciary Committee moves the 6 one step closer to solving what Senator McCain called a judicial emergency in the state.
It's great. We've been waiting in Arizona for a long time for this.
But it took months and in one case 2 years to get this far. But once at the hearing, no controversy was evident.
It's a diversity of experience and background that'll do well.
The 6 Arizona nominees for U.S. District Court are Rosemary Marquez, an attorney from Tucson, Diane Humitewa, special advisor to ASU's President Michael Crow, Stephen P. Logan, a U.S. magistrate judge, Douglas Reyes, a judge in Maricopa County Superior Court, John Tucci, chief assistant U.S. Attorney's Office, and James Soto, a Superior Court judge of Arizona.
I thank these nominees and their families for their willingness to continue serving the nation, this time in the federal judiciary. With that, I commend them to you for your consideration and encourage their swift confirmation by the full Senate. Thank you, Madam Chair.
But the wait is not over yet. Once the committee votes, then the full Senate has to take up the nominations before the 6 can fill the vacant seats. As of this afternoon, no Judiciary Committee vote has been scheduled, but is expected within the week. Live in Washington, D.C., Jillian Idle, Cronkite News.
The Arizona House of Representatives has formed a new committee that plans on helping local businesses grow beyond our borders. Cronkite News reporter Jeff Platt has more on the trade agreement.
JWB is a blade manufacturer based in Tempe, but its CEO Jeff Barth says its future is tied to Mexico.
And I see that as one of the best ways that I can grow my business over the next 5 to 10 years compared to anywhere else.
And Mexican officials welcome the business. They support Arizona's efforts to establish the state's first trade office in Mexico City.
This is a new beginning. We must be able to take advantage of these opportunities.
Phoenix City Councilman Sal DeCiccio says a new trade office will increase Arizona's exports to its southern neighbor.
And the idea behind this is to bring in what's called foreign direct investment. Those are hardcore dollars that come from Mexico into our economy.
Arizona only makes about $6 billion a year from trade with Mexico. Compare that to the $40 billion of California or the $90 billion of Texas, and it's easy to see where the state is missing out. Barth hopes a new trade office will save him time.
It would be easier for me to get across the border. I think that's probably one of the biggest hurdles I have is just the time I spend when I actually drive down there.
And for all business owners, time is money. In Phoenix, Jeff Platt, Cronkite News.
The committee will meet for the first time February 20th to try and put an exact figure on how much income the trade office would potentially produce for the state.
More than 130 miles of canals run through our valley, but as Cronkite News reporter Juan Magana explains, Salt River Project is closing sections off for a good reason.
Mike Cooper enjoys riding along the canal.
My brother had an extra bike, he gave it to me.
As a matter of fact, he fell in love with biking and now can't stop riding.
I do it about 3 times a week.
But he's beginning to hate what he's seen in the canals.
I've not seen too many people throwing stuff in it, but obviously they are.
You wouldn't believe what you'll find in the canal.
The canals are used as dumping grounds.
And it's that very reason why Jeff Lane says SRP spends a lot of time and money drying up the canals, then cleaning them up.
Well, it makes the water flow much more efficient, and that's what these canals here in the valley are for, is to deliver water.
Lane says SRP understands how crucial water is to our valley, so the company just started a new 7-year plan to clean up the canals.
This particular portion here on the Arizona Canal probably hasn't been cleaned in 20 years.
And while they're trying to save the fish in the canal, they also have the challenge of trying to get all the gunk that built up over the years.
Through here, we have areas that are 2 foot deep. With the trucks, the machinery, it runs in the hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
Money that Valley residents like Mike have to pay for.
So it's something you have to do, and we need the water.
So while SRP works hard to keep the water flowing again, Mike's just happy he has a view to ride along every week. In Phoenix, Juan Magana, Cronkite News.
The canals are owned by the federal government. SRP operates and maintains them.
Hardly any snowfall in Flagstaff this season means hardly any snowmelt, which is used to form 2 unique lakes. Cronkite News reporter Cassie Clapp explored the dry spell and found out how it affects locals and their daily routines.
When I visited Flagstaff, there was hardly any snow on the ground, so it wasn't much of a surprise that Lower Lake Mary, that usually extends over a little over a mile when full, was all but a puddle when I drove by.
This lake road is home to bikers.
I'm training to compete in more triathlons.
Toya said it was love at first sight for this sport, which involves biking, running, and swimming. He used to train and swim in Lower Lake Mary, but the lake has problems. It's losing water.
The lake is built on a fault line. There are sinkholes. It doesn't retain water.
And zero snowfall in January means the lake is drying up faster. The average for the month is 20 inches, says the Weather Service.
Things have really dried out, and in the last 40, 50 days, we've had very little precipitation anywhere in the state.
Lower Lake Mary isn't the only Arizona lake that has trouble staying full. About 15 minutes away, Mormon Lake is never more than 6 feet deep.
Mormon Lake is one of the only 2 naturally formed lakes in Arizona. That means though these lakes dry up every year, Game and Fish authorities say that's just normal.
Historically, this is an ephemeral drainage. It goes dry in the summer.
Rinker also says this isn't the worst it's been in terms of drought.
2002 was the driest year Arizona had on record, so.
But Waters says the alarm bells don't need to be raised so fast because there's an easy fix.
Sometimes all it takes is 1 or 2 good winter systems to come in and really bump up the levels.
Though Toya loves training in the lake, he doesn't mind it being empty.
The less boaters and less traffic, it's safer for me.
But safety aside, he'll be the first to tell you there's nothing like training in a full lake.
Over the past couple of days, Flagstaff has had less than an inch of rainfall, but there is more rain and snow expected later this week to turn around the dry spell. I'm Cassie Clapp, Cronkite News.
Coming up on NewsWatch,
Code talkers are being recognized for their contribution toward war effort, and Arizona legislators are trying to give them their own holiday.
You may hike to get away from the overwhelming world of technology, but I have a few reasons as to why you may want to bring your smartphone with you on your next hike.
Imagine being stranded.
Needing 16,000 points for the
From TV banks to computers.
Cronkite NewsWatch starts right now.
Kiss me. That's my kind of man. You've been creating quite a stir.
The winter you've been waiting for is on PBS.
You must choose either death or life.
All the drama.
There's going to be changes at downturn.
It's getting harder to say no.
The adventure.
The waves are breaking all around us.
And the spectacle of nature.
We're going to show how special these animals are.
Come in from the cold. Support the one place that can take you any place.
Navajo code talkers are honored every year on August 14th.
Now Arizona is looking to remember them in a special way. Cronkite News reporter Hannah Lawrence has the story.
Laura Tohe learned to speak Navajo from her father, who also spoke it as part of his service to our country.
It wasn't until 1983 that I learned my father had been a code talker.
Benson Tohe was part of the elite Marine Corps radio operators whose code was never broken by the Japanese in World War II. They were sworn to secrecy for decades afterwards in case their skills were needed again. Now Arizona legislators are pushing a bill that would make Navajo Code Talkers Day a state-observed holiday.
The legacy of the code talkers, I think, is very important, and I'm not just talking about the Navajo code talkers, but there were other tribal people who used their native languages during World War I and II.
Back in 2007, the Hopi tribe was upset when lawmakers passed legislation to build this statue, one that honors Navajo code talkers. The bill's sponsor, Senator Carlisle Begay, also speaks Navajo but recognizes the contributions of other tribes.
As the bill moves forward, I would be very open to perhaps changing it and maybe just say Code Talker Day.
Tohe was so intrigued by her father's service that she wrote a book that shares 30 other code talker stories. Navajos say the preservation of their language is crucial to maintaining their identity. The Arizona legislature may soon honor them for their military contributions as well. In Phoenix, Hannah Lawrence, Cronkite News.
The bill has been assigned to committees and is expected to be heard this week.
Hitting the hiking trails here in the valley is often an escape from technology, but I learned a few good reasons to take your smartphone with you on the trail.
Downloading an app and bringing a phone could have prevented Jane Patterson from wandering through the desert.
Just lost my bearing, and it was back a number of years ago, so we didn't even have cell phones or anything like that.
Now Patterson and her husband like to pre-plan their hiking trips using a scanning app on their cell phones. It's called Quick Response, or QR.
You loaded something apparently that's going to give me a map.
The Phoenix Parks and Recreation Department is using QR codes as a way for hikers to
take their smartphones out and they can scan codes and get a trail map and find out where they are on the trail and where they're headed.
Out in the desert, cell phone signals can be spotty, but with QR codes,
all the data sits on your phone when you go out there, so it's not web-based anymore, so you're not relying on your cell phone coverage.
QR coding is really just a high-tech tool used to make Arizona hiking safer. It does not replace old-school basics like water or sunscreen.
Any more tools you can give to hikers, mountain bikers, equestrian users to safely use the trail, know where they are at all times, is a positive addition to the preserve.
And if you do run into trouble, scanning the code at each mile marker will help emergency responders find you faster.
The Phoenix Parks and Recreation Department has mapped 36 miles of trails with QR codes, but still have about 175 miles to cover.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
Boxing is full of intense workouts, but one Valley woman endures it after overcoming one of life's greatest challenges.
And the Northeast pummeled with powder again. Flagstaff still looking for its first snow day. I got that and more coming up next.
NewsWatch is one of the really big things I will always remember for the rest of my life.
You're lugging around all of your equipment, you are doing all of the work, and that's what makes it so fulfilling to me.
Being an anchor, I think it's a privilege. I enjoy every moment of it.
Seeing your show on air, it is one of the most surreal feelings ever.
What if we could unlock every mystery?
We're at the beginning of a revolution. That's a huge discovery.
That's never been done before, ever, anywhere.
Touchdown.
No one feeds on curiosity like PBS. Give to your PBS station so future generations can keep asking, what if?
I am a chef. I cook for a living. And I think of PBS as a window to the world. That kind of place where you feel you are part of the story. I want to be part of every possible work that's out there. That's when things become really amazing. And when you are able to see stories that make you wonder, makes you think, that's what really makes PBS so meaningful. And that's the kind of TV we need to be supporting today.
For most of us, boxing sounds like anything but easy, but a Valley woman describes her boxing career as just that, easy. Cronkite News reporter Clarissa Tapia says with good reason, after she overcame a huge obstacle.
Boxing takes a lot out of you. For Sulem, it requires mental, physical, and emotional concentration. Although it sounds intense, for Sulem, boxing is the fun part of her day.
I used to see boxing as a very extremely difficult sport. I didn't realize that boxing was the easy part and that life was the hard part.
By hard part, Sulem is talking about losing her younger brother Alexis Urbina, who was murdered just last year. Alexis was an upcoming star in the boxing world, already a national champ. But with his dreams cut short, it seemed even Sulem's boxing future was at stake.
I did think about quitting a few times. I can't lie about that. It's difficult for you to walk into a gym where you spend your whole time with your brother there training hard, and you guys share so many memories together. But I told myself that I couldn't.
She told someone else she couldn't as well.
I promised him that I would keep going, and I had to keep my promise.
Sulem wasn't the only one thinking of quitting. Her husband and trainer, Andrew Soto, also found it hard to come back to the gym where Alexis used to train, but he's happy with the decision they made.
We made the right decision as staying, keeping the doors open, because I think she needed it just as much as I do.
I feel like this is where he's at with me the most. To me, he's still here.
And she's committed to staying here, sharing her brother's memory and commitment, not only with herself, but with all the others who walk through these doors. In Phoenix, Clarissa Tapia, Cronkite News.
So far, Sulem has kept her siblings' dream alive. She's currently ranked #1 in Mexico and hopes to continue winning as her eyes are set on competing at the 2016 Olympics in Rio.
And boy, Mother Nature must be a football fan. She held off just long enough for the game to finish before pounding the Northeast with Winter Storm Maximus. Over 1,200 flights canceled. New York with 5 inches of snow before midday. Here are some pictures from the area. Cars covered. Flamingos didn't stand a chance. Here at the corner of Broadway and 81st in Manhattan, everything covered in snow, but this is only the beginning, and they're caught in between a couple of storms right now. Right now, Winter Storm Maximus is coming through the area. You can see still kind of pummeling the New York, New Jersey area. Gave them quite a whirlwind this morning. And then right down here, you can see this is Winter Storm Nika, and that's going to come through the Midwest, hit Cleveland, going to hit all these Midwest states, and probably come back and get the Northeast once again. Now, we're looking for some snow here up north. Flagstaff, 39 days without any snow. They were in a bit of a drought, and they got a little bit this weekend. You're going to see some of this green, these clouds. That's the snow, the rain coming up through the north. They're looking to possibly get some activity up there in Snowbowl. And you can see here is a picture from the ski slope. They've been making their own snow for a little while, but this weekend they could possibly get a little more, as they have a 90% chance of snow on Friday. If you're looking to go up, highs Friday, Saturday in the mid-30s, and then it's going to jump up to 48. Looking for some clear skies into the weekend if you're going up. And here's your 5-day. It's been chilly through the last few days. It's going to remain in the 60s with a 30% chance of precipitation on Friday. Look for some scattered clouds throughout the valley, light cloud coverage. It's going to be nice. We don't usually get this here, so enjoy it while you have it. There's your forecast. I'm Adam Waltz, Cronkite Weather.
Coming up on NewsWatch.
The Super Bowl turned into a super snooze fest. If you happen to fall asleep at the half, we have the highlights. And a former ASU golfer showed he's among the best this weekend at the Phoenix Open. And no, it's not Phil Mickelson. Cronkite NewsWatch is back after a quick timeout.
A tradition of excellence, integrity, and innovation.
The second I came in, I fell in love with the program.
The Cronkite School propels students into the new era of journalism.
Students are learning.
Digital, entrepreneurial, and collaborative labs encourage students to shape the future of the industry, and the industry is watching.
We have come here to meet with students at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism.
The Cronkite School, the journalism school for the digital age.
What if television could sweep us away to another time and place?
Very nice, my lady.
And could take us from the Gilded Age to the Great War. From the heat of the chase to the heart of a queen. No one tells stories like PBS. Give to your PBS station and help bring stories like these to life.
Super Bowl 48 went down in New Jersey last night. The Denver Broncos' top-ranked offense against the Seattle Seahawks' top-ranked defense. But last night on the biggest stage, Seattle looked top-ranked in just about everything. The very first play, though, Seattle didn't need to do too much to snap sails over the head of Peyton Manning, a safety, the quickest score in Super Bowl history for the Seahawks. They're up 2-0. Now, later in the half, Manning hit as he throws. There's that duck Richard Sherman was talking about, into the hands of Malcolm Smith. 69 yards for the touchdown. Hawks up 22-0. Now, the opening kickoff of the second half. It can't get any worse for Denver, right? Oh, it can. Percy Harvin knocked out of the NFC Championship game with a concussion, looking pretty coherent here. 87 yards to the crib. The Seahawks scored in every phase of the game and flew past the Broncos for a dominating 43-8 victory.
Well, guys that have the same kind of attitude and approach towards the game. A bunch of guys with chips on their shoulder and guys that have been overlooked. And it's just, for us to be here, come this far, the way our fans support us, it's great.
Now, from the biggest skeptical on the turf to the biggest party on grass, the Waste Management Open finished up yesterday, and Bubba Watson and Kevin Stadler entered the final day, the center of attention. To the 17th hole we go. Watson tied for the lead at 15 under. Look at this beauty. Drains the birdie putt from 18 feet. Takes a one-shot lead. Now the final hole. Stadler with a chance to wrap this baby up. His 12-foot putt slides right past the hole, and now he has to watch Watson. Bubba with a chance to force a playoff. Are you kidding me? From 6 feet out, misses the putt, and Stadler wins his first PGA tournament of his career. Now, not everyone can be as lucky as Stadler on the PGA Tour, but Cronkite sports reporter Nick Merrick caught up with one former Sun Devil who's made some noise at TPC this past weekend.
Pat Perez has a simple strategy on the links.
Just try to map out the course and make sure you play every hole right.
He did just that at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, finishing in 11th place. There is no doubt that playing in Arizona certainly helped fuel the former Sun Devil.
You know, this is almost, 17 for me now out of school, so this tournament's fantastic. You know, get a lot of ASU fans out, and you know, a lot of people support the tournament. It's just fun, really fun.
Thanks to some smooth strokes and precision putting, Perez finished in the top 12 for the third time in 2014. He's giving some credit for his winning ways of late to a childhood neighbor, former Philadelphia Phillies outfielder Pat Burrell. Perez celebrated with the Phillies after winning the 2008 World Series, and he learned what it takes to be a winner.
It was unbelievable. You know, obviously it's just me and my caddy as a team, so but to watch those guys come together and play and win, just to see them be at the top, is it was awesome.
And awesome is how Perez will remember this weekend at TPC Scottsdale, not only being in the top 12, but finishing ahead of another Arizona State product, Phil Mickelson. On the links in Scottsdale, Nick Merrick, Cronkite Sports.
Now this will make Perez happy. After dropping its first game of the season to Cal on a last-second shot Saturday night, Arizona has fallen out of the #1 spot in the coaches poll for the first time this season. After spending 8 weeks at the top of the mountain, the Wildcats fall to #2 as Syracuse takes over as the top team in the country. And now other basketball news sure to make Valley residents happy. According to ESPN.com, the Suns are in serious talks about bringing Lakers perennial all-star Pau Gasol to Phoenix. Now, one option for the Suns is to trade the expiring contract of Emeka Okafor. The Lakers have made it clear they won't part with Gasol just for money, so Phoenix will probably have to give up one of its first 4 first-round picks.
That's it for Cronkite NewsWatch tonight. We're always on the web. Just head to CronkiteNewsOnline.com.
Thanks for joining us. Good night.
Good job.
That was good. That was good.